single day, and they're like, bro, we're not up in the states where this man's going to take the election in. We lost Pennsylvania, we lost North Carolina, we definitely lost Georgia. So after that, it's over. That's why they're panicking. That's why they're doing everything they can to paint this man however at this point, because they know they're losing.
And yes, you heard me correctly. You're not going to hear a Trump-funded station or a Trump-funded platform say that. Even if you're voting Kamala, we just want everybody informed, registered, and voting come November 5th.
Yeah, we don't care. Vote for Kamala, vote for Donald Trump. It don't matter.
It don't matter.
But let your voice be heard.
Oh, God. Now back to the show.
Now let's go.
Him practically on a silver platter.
Make sure you like the video, guys.
For bankruptcy
tap that
6
screen.
times.
3 buttons in the upper right-hand corner, man.
Let's
do
it. Take a look at his record. I know that so many of our entrepreneurs who have great ideas don't have access to capital, but they have serious work ethic, great ideas, and a plan to do the work. So part of my plan is to increase access to capital, including giving $20,000 forgivable loans for startup capital for people to buy the equipment.
Right.
And
Hey, shout out Troublemaker, $5. I'm a union recruiter. Migrants don't get financial help for housing. The temp agencies take part of their check to help them. They are modern slaves. No, and I can partially agree with your point. They are low-key pimping these TPS residents or these migrants. The companies, the cities that bring them in, they kind of have a need for them. Like they make a good point in Springfield. Like some of these jobs, people don't want them because they're not paying enough for people in the city to work. But the migrants come in, and this is the part that you're missing. In your point, they are getting subsidized housing from the government.
Yeah.
They are. That is a confirmed fact. So while it might not be enough for you or me or Set, if you're getting half of your rent, 70% of your rent paid for, you're getting food stamps, you're getting other forms of financial aid or financial assistance from the government, it's more than enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than enough.
Shoot, you just need a job to hold down whatever groceries I guess you got to buy for yourself or whatever car note.
And
they paying for your housing.
When you say financial help, maybe we're having a difference in where they're getting it from, but their housing is getting partly subsidized.
I mean, bro, they get it from FEMA SSP. It already showed it. It already showed how we low-key give them money out of the FEMA program or out of the FEMA budget to go put towards humanitarian services for immigrants by helping them out and helping them helping them get a stronghold in America. Ain't that crazy? But we refuse to help our homeless and all that good stuff. We refuse to help our veterans more. But we got some money for these, immigrants.
And then to change the tax deduction. So whereas it is now $5,000 to make it $50,000 to start a new business, because nobody can start a new business on $5,000. And the direct benefit when we're looking at Black entrepreneurs is profound. And all it is about saying this. Americans in general, regardless of their race or gender, we have ambition, we have aspirations, we have dreams, but not everyone has access to the opportunity to let some actually accomplish that. I want to increase access to opportunity.
Listen, unfortunately,
migrants pay more in taxes than they use in taxes. Fact. Hold on. Migrants pay more in taxes than they use in taxes? Bro, that don't make sense, G. I'm going to be real with you, because you mean they pay more in tax? How would they pay more in tax? You'd have to further explain that. Also, employers steal billions from workers every year in lost wages. Facts. And lost wages, what do you mean in lost wages? Like, how are they lost if you're working and you're getting the paycheck? And lost wages would mean that they lost the job, which would be their fault. I don't know, like, hey, if they lose their job because of their actions, that's on them. But migrants paying more, bro. The richest in America funds 43% of our taxes. What the hell? Migrants pay more taxes than they use? I mean, how? How would they pay more taxes? The only way they pay more taxes if they're making a lot of money, which they're not.
And I like to hone in on the second point. Employers steal billions from workers every year in lost wages. Through what method?
Yeah.
Through what means?
Like what?
Elaborate on that.
Cool, shoot, because y'all definitely gonna lose some wages if Kamala gets that unrealized tax on gains or unrealized capital gains tax, and raise the corporate rate. Oh, you're gonna lose some wages then. But like what? Employers stealing billions from workers, bro. Employers give billions to workers.
Now, again, we can agree on the fact that these temp agencies and these employers are kind of pimping these migrants, because they are to a degree, but you're going to have to elaborate on the rest of the points you're making, namely employers stealing billions from workers in lost wages. How? What? By what means? By what vehicle?
Man.
Actually, I've gone viral a few times, but I've never. Is on the ways you GLP-1s through Roe. Madam VP, if you were to become president, what measures would you put in place to make?
And you've been in here before, so we appreciate your commentary, but please elaborate.
Make sure Social Security benefits continue, because there are reports that it could possibly be depleted by 2033, and there are estimated that 11,000 people turn at least 65 years of age every single day.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
And shout out Go Light, I don't know how you pronounce it, G. But shout out for the $10 support, man. We appreciate you, big dog. And we're going to call you Zay or Zaya.
To make sure, because that, people, disability, retirement, survivors with beneficiaries. What are you going to do to make sure that that continues?
So, Shannon, to your point, there was an independent economic review of Donald Trump's plan, which shows that Social Security in the next 6 years would be insolvent under his plan, meaning that it would not be able to pay out what hardworking.
Aren't you the one that's trying to increase the taxes on Social Security and all that good stuff? Like, well, you're trying to increase the tax on the rich, which is going to make a lot of people lose their jobs, but you don't care about that. But Donald Trump is the only person saying he's going to end taxation on Social Security. So make it make sense here. Can you please make that make sense? I mean, yo, what do you mean? What do you mean? That don't even make sense. It's like he's ending taxation on Social Security.
People who deserve dignity in their retirement deserve. And as you and I both know, there are a lot of our seniors who their only source of income is that Social Security check.
That's correct.
Right? It's the only way they're going to pay the rent or have food on the table. So my plan is about doing what we need to do to put the resources back into Social Security, but also expanding it. Because here's part of the problem with Social Security is that for our aging seniors, if they are a couple, for example, and one of the spouses passes, that cuts their Social Security benefits almost in half. So part of my plan is to reconfigure it so that that surviving spouse does not then have a crisis where they've already lost their loved one. But we also just have to understand on a macro level, we've got to require that billionaires and corporations pay their fair share, right? They can afford to. And that's part of what is the difference between me and Donald Trump. My plan is about tax cuts for small businesses, for working people, for middle-class people. 100 million Americans will benefit around tax cuts. My plan is that no taxes will be raised for anybody making less than $400,000 a year. My plan is that we give young parents a $6,000 child tax credit to help them pay for child care, for a crib or a car seat, because you and I both know the vast majority of our young parents have a natural desire to parent their children well, but not always the resources.
It's funny though. You're out here giving child tax credit, but you're also over here pushing abortion. It's kind of funny. Like, oh, okay, you want us to take care of our kids, but you also want us to unalive our kids before they even start. Okay.
And back to the way I was raised, I know that the children of the community are the children of the community. That you and I will benefit from that young family having the resources they need. So it's about all of us benefiting, but it's a state of mind and it's a perspective. Mine is about thinking about the challenges people face and getting them help. Donald Trump is full-time focused on himself. You watch his rallies. He will spend full time talking about.
Like, dog, come on now. Really, Trump only cares about himself, but he's talking about what? No tax on overtime, no tax on tips. Like that doesn't really benefit him. Trump pays himself. He don't work overtime. He don't get tips. Who is that benefiting? No tax on Social Security. Does that benefit Trump? Not really. Most of Trump policies don't even benefit him. It benefit us. It's kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy. And shout out Troublemaker, man. Immigrants pay income tax through ITIN and sales tax. They pay more into the system than they get out of it. Look up employer unpaid wages. Like, wait, bro, what? Bro, what are you trying to say? That they pay more through, like, where can you even calculate that they're paying sales tax? Some of these people's getting paid under the table, so they're not even getting like, you know, there's no taxes that they're paying, bro. And here's the thing: I think I actually shout out Key. Key actually has an article that disproves what you're saying. The only part is, if Key would tell me which part of the article is it. It's a long ass article, but don't worry, I got it. We got the answers right for you. It comes from the cost of illegal immigration to taxpayers, man. So we got something right here for you. Oh, perfect. I got you the first part here. All right, illegal immigrants are a net fiscal drain, meaning they receive more in government services than they pay in taxes. The result is not due to laziness or fraud. Illegal immigrants actually have high rates of work, and they do pay some taxes, including income and payroll taxes. The fundamental reason that illegal immigrants are a net drain is that they have a low average education level, which results in low average earnings and tax payments. It also means a large share qualify from the welfare program, often receiving benefits on behalf of their U.S.-born children. Like their less educated and lower income U.S.-born counterparts. Well, damn. The tax payments of illegal immigrants do not come close to covering the costs they create. It don't even come close. We're paying for these people and they're not even paying us back. We give them $1,000. They only paid us back like $50. What the hell are we doing? Shout out Key, man.
I was going to say Freddy Krueger. Hannibal Lecter. Might as well be Freddy Krueger. Hannibal Lecter. Mm-hmm. He'll spend full time talking about his grievances, about what everyone has done to him. He'll talk about himself, but he does not talk about the American people. He does not talk about what he's going to do for middle class. He does not talk about what
And if you want me to source that, is the cost of illegal immigration to taxpayers, and it has come from Immigration Integrity, Security, and Enforcement Subcommittee of the House. This is where it comes from. Yes, the Immigration, Integrity, Security, and Enforcement Subcommittee of the House. These are where these results are coming from.
What he's going to do for families, for working people. And we're 12 days out. This is probably one of the most serious elections that we have faced in our lifetime. My perspective, and I will be the kind of president
we appreciate you, troublemaker,
full-time focused on the needs of the people. That has been my career. I have spent my whole career as a public servant trying to uplift the condition of other people, knowing what is possible and doing it with a sense of optimism. On January 20th, a new president is going into the White House.
Mm-hmm. Let me see.
Period. A new.
And shout out Steph, man. Please send the video of MJ that has this bitch in it. I actually totally forgot she was there that day. Love MJ forever. Thank you guys for finding it. Oh, no problem at all. I got you. I'm just have to get it off the X.
The president is going into the White House.
Like the video, guys.
Do you want to look at the Oval Office and see a Donald Trump who's going to be sitting there filling out his enemies list, spending full time figuring out retribution and revenge? Or looking at the Oval Office and knowing you have a president in there who's creating a to-do list that's about what to do to help the American people.
So raising minimum age of Social Security, that's not on the table for you.
No. Look, people work hard all their lives. And they deserve to be able to retire with dignity. I'll tell you how I come at this. I come at it from a number of perspectives, including thinking about how I was raised in terms of how you take care of the elders, right? I think about it in terms of taking care of my mother when she was sick and dying from cancer. So one of my policies, for example, is to help Medicare pay for home health care for seniors. Why? Because look, I did it, and it means, trying to cook for an elder, to make something they feel like eating, right? To help them put on a sweater. And we have so many people who are in the sandwich generation. They're raising their young kids and taking care of their parents. And either they have to deplete their savings to qualify for Medicaid, right? To be able to help pay for home health care, or they have to quit their job to do the work of taking care of their kids and their parent. And I just believe that's not right. That we should have policies that give people dignity, especially our seniors. So my plan is Medicare pays for home health care. Okay. And no, I would not raise the age of eligibility for Social Security, because the same thing, we shouldn't force people to work until they're 70 in order to retire and have a moment to just enjoy their life and not worry about how they're going to pay their rent.
Is Medicare for all a priority for you?
Damn, exactly.
What is a priority for me is making sure that access to health care is a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. That's why I am in favor of and have pushed and been a leader on capping the cost of insulin at $35 a month. And why I intend to allow Medicare to actually negotiate against the big pharmaceutical companies to bring down the cost of prescription medication for everybody.
Cool bean. What's
That's
up?
why I have fought for what we need to do around making sure Medicare covers senior care. Access to health care should not be a question of how much money you have in your back pocket. That's just not right. And I feel strongly about that.
Blacks for Trump. They feel that Trump is better for the black community. Can you explain Donald Trump's history with blacks? Where did this come that all of a sudden, I mean, it's been like this because a lot of people used to say, I'm Donald Trump of the ghetto, because he was, I mean, for a lot of blacks, not all, but for some blacks, he was, Madam VP, whether we want to admit it or not, he's revered by some blacks.
But here's the thing.
Is he not allowed to be? What has he done to disparage the black community? What has he done against the interests of the black community? If you actually take a look at it, look at Ice Cube and Trump's collaboration on the Platinum Plan. You know, trying to highlight underserved communities, underserved neighborhoods, give people a chance. This is the equality that the left is also about, the inclusivity the left is also about. Donald Trump had the same initiative almost.
Bro, you know what's kind of killing me though? It's like, so hold on. Y'all ain't been like, bro, these Democrats ain't been doing ish for us. Nothing for us.
Jack squat.
Nothing. A man comes around and you tell us he's gonna put us in chains, but instead he put some change in our pocket.
Ooh.
And now y'all mad.
Ooh.
Now y'all wanna, bro, now y'all mad that we rocking with him? He gave us 4 years of economic growth. He gave us 4 years of wage increase in the black community. No shit, we want to vote for this man.
And let's keep it a buck. It's always been blacks for Trump. If you date it back to before my man entered politics, nobody had a reason to hate that man. He was all up in the rappers' songs, buddy with all the black entertainers. It wasn't until he announced his run for politics that everybody had a reason to go against the man. It's always been blacks for Trump. What you mean? Ask Jesse
question
Jackson.
for everybody, should he be president?
Ask Oprah. Ask Snoop Dogg.
United States.
Okay.
Right? That's the question. Should he have the ability to sit behind the seal of the President of the United States when he says he wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States? You know what that would mean? In the Constitution of the United States is your Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable search and seizure. Your Fifth Amendment right, your Sixth Amendment right to an attorney.
It's crazy how
Well, a lot of rights gonna be gone. The First Amendment.
But the First Amendment, the Second Amendment.
All right, buddy.
Look, I'm in favor of the Second Amendment. I don't believe we should be taking anybody's guns away. He wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States. He is the same one, like I said earlier, who denied rent to black families, who took out that full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution.
Didn't we literally just?
I dove into that. Now I dove into that and I looked up how they actually did it. Right?
Yes.
So they sent in a black man. They've been in a white man or a black man or a black person and a white person. One of them would get the house and the other one wouldn't. But here's the problem with that data. Not only did they go in and they would send a white man in there and act for the house, and they send a black man in there asking for the same house, and dude would be like, well, of course the house is not available. I just promised it to one guy.
So that's his prejudice renting practice,
bro. And then it's even worse.
Oh man,
they don't even want to explain. Hey yo, can we please explain the credit scores? Can we please explain, I don't know, their income compared to the whites, to why they were not getting picked over the whites? I'm like, let's be real here. 1975, black people coming in over a white person. Most likely that white person's making more money than the black person. And, you know, it is a business. And then he took him to court over it. Bro, he settled, but never claimed guilt. And you know who actually ran that case against him?
Who's that?
Hillary.
Wow.
Yeah, Hillary's name is on that case. Hillary took Trump to jail for that, tried to take Trump to court for that. He pleaded out and said, yeah, I'm just going to give you this And here's the thing: they couldn't name no employee, they couldn't bring up no employees of his that were doing it. So we're talking about it wasn't Donald Trump himself; it was an employee of Donald Trump that they were complaining about. Not Donald Trump himself, but an employee.
So those are his prejudice renting practices, is that the property was already rented out.
And Google Tax Policy Center, do migrants pay taxes? We did not say migrants didn't pay taxes. We said that they don't pay enough taxes to cover what the government gives to keep them here. That's what we said.
And if you read the article we just read out, with all due respect, their lower education leads to lower skilled laborer jobs, which purports them to be on the underhand or the underside of the tax system, which we all know that the majority of taxes come from the upper echelon. Mm-hmm. So, well, no problem Googling that. Just definitely encourage you to look up the research we just shared from the Center of Immigration Studies.
Yes, please.
Of those
we didn't say they didn't pay taxes. We said
they definitely do.
Yeah, we did. They said that, bro. The money we paid to cover them, so we paid them $1,000 to live here. They're only giving us like $50 to $100 back.
Right, and they're definitely taking part in the government assistance programs. You got child care, Section 8 housing, food stamps, just to name a few. Right.
And make sure to like the video, guys. Double tap that screen. 3 dots up there in the corner. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, though,
birtherism accusations against the first black president.
We do love the pushback.
Not to mention his.
Keep you on your toes.
Please ask folks to Google Project 2025.
Yeah.
He would get rid of the $35 a month cap on insulin. We know how many of our seniors had it. I'll give you another example of why
crazy?
Donald Trump has not earned
Why not?
the support.
You know what, guys? Y'all say, "Oh, you're not listening to her. Y'all not really being honest." I'm like, you know what? Why not? Let's actually listen to Kamala. Project 2025. Let's Google search it. All right, cool. Let's go to project2025.org. Ain't that nice? They have a whole website. How nice of them. And then let's go through the truth about Project 2025, and let's go to debunking the lies. This is where things get a bit iffy here, right? Because we're talking about debunking lies. Project 2025 is a plan from Trump. This is coming from their website. It's false. Terminate the Constitution. False. Give the government more power over your daily life. False. Ban books and curriculum about slavery. False. I mean, let's go. Hey, look, don't worry. We'll still be able to learn about slavery, guys. And civil rights. False. I mean, cut military benefits for veterans and service members, including housing, TRICARE, retirement, and secondary education. False. So all this stuff they lied to you about what's in Project 2025, if you want to read the actual 922-page, document, it will tell you this itself. It is false. None of what Kamala Harris is telling you that's in there is actually in there. Ban contraceptives, false. Ban IV, false. But they know none of y'all will actually Google Project 2025 like we just did. I mean, we listened to Kamala. Why can't you? And y'all voting for the bitch. How y'all voting for this bitch? You ain't gonna go look what she tell you to do. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. I did get a bit.
Nah, fuck it. They gotta know.
Man.
They want to talk about this Project 2025, bro. This has been available. This has been publicly accessible information for the better part of 3 months. The whole campaign cycle. And y'all want to get on here talking about some goofy ass Project 2025.
It's been on here since 2023. 2023. And y'all haven't actually read it? Okay. You don't actually believe in this bitch?
Mind you,
you're just anti-Trump.
It was the same debate we had with a call-in viewer last night. Like, this can easily be disproven. Project 2025 is an independent, privatized think tank who funds their own research, goddammit. They have no affiliation with any government or any political candidate right now. Prominent Republicans have came out and disavowed it and said, nah, this is kind of right-wing, kind of radical. Even Trump himself has said that. So how you can combine the two and relate the two is your own bias, your own personal bias.
Yes, and shout out Seth Troutman. Trolls got something to say, send in a super chat, man. Send a super chat. Shout out Seth. That's all you gotta do. Just $1 and up. We'll go ahead and read out your stuff. We got you. But in the meantime, bro, go look it up yourself. Because it's crazy how we're listening to Kamala Harris more than y'all. Folks, we're not even voting for her.
President of the United States again. When he was president the last time, during the height of COVID, 1 in 3 Black Americans knew somebody who died from COVID. You remember those days?
I do.
And the site we were on was project2025.org. You know,
The Heritage
.org.
Foundation.
So you know it's an actual organization. You know the ones you use for a school paper. You know you can't use .com. Use .org, .edu. Yes, that.
And people couldn't get their hands on a COVID test. At that very same time, Donald Trump as president secretly sent COVID tests to the president of Russia for his personal use. While Americans were dying every day, he has not earned the right to be president of the United States.
I don't know what to tell you.
It's one thing if he has a television show that's very popular. He can put his name on a building. Even though we all know he was not a terribly good businessman, which is why he filed for bankruptcy 6 times. But that is one thing. To be president of the United States means to try and find common ground, to build consensus, to lift up the American people instead of trying to beat people down all the time. It means solving problems, which means you have to be able to get out of your own head and scan to be concerned about the well-being of other people and then do something about it. Does anyone think Donald Trump thinks that way?
Yeah, well, empathy requires you to divorce your own ego to see yourself as someone else.
That's exactly right. And we know that's not his character. So it's about, is this the right person for that job, right?
He said immigrants are taking black jobs. I don't know what those black jobs that they're taking. Can you elaborate on that? What the immigrants are taking? What black jobs are they?
I'll tell you, low skilled labor, entry level work that everybody in the Hispanic and black community should be able to access. Honestly, anybody should be able to access. Let's not pretend that people don't go to school for 4, 6, 8 years, graduate, and aren't able to get a job in their career path. So they do need any American should have access to these jobs. And when you increase the job pool, it tightens the window or the job accessibility for American workers and American citizens, especially when you're adding, let's just take Springfield, Ohio, for example, 20 to 30% or 20 to 30,000 migrants on top of a population of 50,000 that is already underserved and hurting.
Yes. And you know what? How about this? For the more, I would say, no, I'm just going to say, for the more high IQ, viewers, if your IQ level's above room temperature, please, to go look at project2025.org. Go ahead and do that for us. And if you don't believe it, go come back like said, look, I read something completely different, but I guarantee you'll see the lies.
Like, my bad, Saint Key Media. I thought they lied to me. And they lied to me.
And it's okay, bro. It's okay. We love you still.
We'll accept you. It's okay.
It's all love over here on the Trump side. I don't know about the Kamala. They with the hate, the racism, the vitriol. Then they say it's us over here, and I'm just like, man, I don't know how, man. I done have more Kamala Harris supporters call me the N-word, try to shame me for being black than the Trump supporters ever have.
Like, look, bro, I like to say we all been fooled and lied to, bro. It's just about waking up and realizing the truth, bro, and we'll accept you when you do so.
Well, it's just another example of him trying to divide and him trying to scare people. It's just another example of him doing that, of him trying to say it's either you or them, right? And the other thing is that it's incredibly demeaning because, and he still has not been forced to define, Donald Trump, what do you define as a black job? Because let me tell you what I define as a black job. Vice President of the United States.
That's a good one.
Right?
Boy.
It is. I don't know about the pay, but it's a good job to have. That'll be.
Well, not everybody is Shannon Sharp.
No, but you know what I wanted to ask? You've been in basically your adult life. You've been a public servant.
Yes, I have.
You've been AG.
My whole adult life.
You've been a DA.
Yeah.
You've been a senator. You've been VP. Is that what you envisioned? Is that what you always wanted to be? Was a public servant?
I've always wanted to serve. I was raised, back to however you were raised, in the community in which you are raised, including the...
And shout out Troublemaker. He says, how much do migrants bring in a year in taxes and how much do they cost? Your article says they bring in $300 billion a year. Bro, the argument was never they don't pay towards taxes. It was that they don't pay as much toward taxes as the regular citizen and that we still have to fund them. They're a net negative as far as the tax equivalency. So what they pay is not equivalent to what we give.
Nowhere equivalent. So they may pay $300 million. Then that mean if they're paying us $300 million, that mean we're paying them like $600 million. And like I said, dog, we never said they didn't pay taxes. obviously, I know you read that, but you're kind of being disingenuous right now. You're selectively reading it right now. So I want you to really think about what we said. We didn't say they wasn't getting taxed. We said that the taxes that they do pay does not equal out to what we give them. We give them way more than what they pay in. That's the problem.
This just to kind of highlight one of the most, I would say, compelling points in this article. Illegal immigrants have a negative fiscal impact. Taxes paid minus benefits received, primarily because a large share have modest levels of education, resulting in relatively low average incomes and tax payments, along with significant use of means-tested programs and other government services. So it's exactly as we said. They're not really working high-skilled labor jobs. Think about it. No funny business, no racism, but yeah, the low-skilled labor, construction, warehouse work, plant work. It's entry-level work, right, a lot of times. So they're not really doing anything of high education. And again, they are still eligible for the same government programs that we are. And best believe with the lower income that they have, they're using these programs. So again, a net negative. And
the shout out Monkey, how is she able to continue to tell lies? Can Trump sue her? Dog, you would think that he'd be able to get the meanest defamation case. I mean, I'll be saying the same thing. I'll be like, the family of the man who got shot behind Trump should be suing every news station. Anybody who even said that shooting was fake should be getting the Sandy Hook treatment like they did Alex Jones. How the fuck you gonna sue Alex Jones, but you can't sue these news medias, these people who done said that, oh, well, yeah, the bullet that killed your husband was fake. It was a piece of glass. Your husband may be dead for real, but the shooting was fake. Like, what the fuck is wrong with some of these people? Where's the defamation case on them?
And shout out Troublemaker, another $2. He says, give me a number. How much do they cost? Bro, the number is irrelevant when it comes to the statistic. When it comes to the statistic and the analysis, the number is almost irrelevant. It's the point. It's the overall point. It's the overall message that they're a net negative, right? They're not working the jobs that are leading to more tax revenue. They're not. They're just not, bro.
It's like, bro, they're a minus. They're a minus. Us U.S. citizens, we're a plus. They are a minus. We give to them more than they give to us. I'm not sure it was so hard. No matter what they give, we give 2 times more. Guarantee it. No matter what.
There's another fact in here I want to share with you, Troublemaker, since we seem to be having some disagreement on this. The high welfare use of illegal immigrant households is not explained by an unwillingness to work. And it's not that they're lazy. In fact, 94% of illegal migrants households have at least one worker compared to 73% of U.S.-born households. But the nation's welfare system is designed to help low-wage workers with children. And let's not pretend that, again, these migrants that are coming over here, they're just not eligible for higher education, higher skilled labor, at least not up front, right? So they're going to be working these entry-level, more demeaning or more just, again, entry-level, low-skilled labor jobs. So they're going to need the government assistance to kind of subsidize some of their earnings, welfare, subsidized housing, Section 8, food stamps, what have you. So, again, I really encourage you to read through that article. Just kind of take some of your bias out if you can. I know it might be hard for you to do so, but it is compelling stuff once you really kind of fully read and indulge in what they're telling us in that article.
Church in which you are raised, I have always believed that it is an important pursuit to figure out how you can serve, and we can do it in different ways, right? I chose public service, you chose a different route, but it's about service. And I've only had one client my entire life, the people. And the reason I keep doing it is because I know the difference that I and we can make when we believe in what is possible and then work hard at it. And my pledge in this campaign to everyone, regardless of who you are, where you live, what you look like, I will be a president for all Americans. And I will work to bring our country back together because, frankly, I think people are exhausted with the anger, with the hate, with the division, the attempt to have Americans pointing their fingers at each other. I think people are...
But this comes from both sides. That's what irritates me, is that the claim that, oh, the divisive rhetoric is bad for America, this incendiary rhetoric is what's causing a lot of the division. And I can agree to a certain extent, but we have to hold both sides accountable for the rhetoric. It's not like Republicans are saying it and Democrats are just sitting there taking all the shots and or we're bullying up on them. Like, no, it comes from both sides. I've heard both sides say inflammatory things, and if we're gonna make the claim on one side, we just need to hold both sides accountable. And honestly, it's just politics at this stage in the game. It's 2024. It's a blood sport at this point in time. So they say defamatory things about both sides. She's calling Trump a fascist. He's calling her a commie. It is what it is, man. And I'm not even saying I fully agree with it, but let's just not make it seem like one side's doing all the damage while the other side is just some helpless toddler.
Exhausted. It's not healthy for the productivity of our country. Like, do we want to strive? Do we want to thrive? Or do we want to spend full time with vengeance, demeaning other people? And living a life of service is about, I think, the importance of lifting people up, not tearing them down.
My team here at Shay Shay Media is always growing and making moves.
Man got all the ads. God
talent
man.
with candidates to set dress, sleds,
Shannon
check.
bag.
Zip Recruiter, the smartest way to hire.
You know, you paying racks just for
I've
that.
read some blacks say the problem that they have to you is that you're making political promises and that you're just pandering. The problem that I have with that, it just seems like only black people pander. Like when other candidates go on shows and they say they're going to do this, they're not pandering. They're telling you, laying out their elaborate plan on what they're going to do. But it seems to you, when you promise it, if I'm president, this is what I'm going to do in the first 90 days. This is what I'm going to do. My administration is going to do while I'm in office. You're pandering. How do you get through to those that says, look, this is what I'm going to do. If I'm elected president, these are the policies.
Hold on. Am I tripping, or have we yet to hear that comprehensive plan from Kamala? Like, we've heard concepts of a plan, but as far as how it's carried out, from start to finish, transparency of her plans.
The last time somebody pushed, like, how you gonna get that bill through? You know, there's people in Congress not gonna like that. Oh, we're just
gonna do it. It's just gonna happen. It's gonna have to get done.
I'm like, whoa. Hold on, sweetheart. If it was that simple, then why haven't you done it now?
Well, because her tax proposal is going to be taxing the richest people in our country, the people who provide the jobs, and ultimately, if she was to really detail it, it's going to piss a lot of folks off who really know anything about economics.
Yeah.
And they will lead to meaningful and impactful change.
Well,
part of it is just to be candid.
Bro, honestly, if she was to detail it, would lose her votes from the upper
echelon. For sure. Like, you're not going to sit here and tell me that, oh, yeah, you're going to stay in America, give jobs, pay taxes, but we're going to just wreck you. We're going to wreck you.
Bro, I'd be planning my departure.
Bro, me too.
As a capitalist.
I'd be going, so to Ireland, China, or Mexico.
I love America, but as a capitalist, I'd be like, you know what? Yeah, like you said, Mexico, China, Ireland. Like,
y'all making it kind of hard to keep people working. And that's the best thing about what Trump is doing. He's finding a way for us to have still our high minimum wage, but he has to lower taxes in order for these companies to be enticed to come over here. Because a lot of companies don't come over here due to high corporate tax and high minimum wage. We have to sacrifice one of these motherfuckers. And I believe we should sacrifice the one that gives to the government instead of the one that gives to the people. So yeah, we do have to sacrifice the corporate tax. And when Trump says he's bringing it down to 15, that's the best thing for us.
And in addition to that, shout out his plan of implementing the tariffs, because again, he plans on using it as a leveraging tool to get these companies back over to America. Now, mind you, he's already also added that he's going to make it a more tax-friendly environment for these companies if they come back and operate in our local economies. We can't be disparaging these companies or forcing them to go over there, forcing them to come back and then not making it friendly for them. Like, no, we're going to make these environments friendly for these companies. That way they can produce, add to the local economy, give you and your family jobs, and ultimately help America's growth.
And shout out Monkey. After this, I am done with a lot of entertainers. I mean, bro.
I low-key said they needed this bar, social media influencers, entertainers, and actors from influencing the election or being endorsers of candidates for the next election. Because, bro, people blindly vote off of, Meg Thee Stallion shake her ass for Kamala Harris, so I got to vote for her. Beyonce came out and said good things about her, so I got to vote for her. Honestly, I'm not gonna say the right doesn't do it, but the left just does it so well, so expertly. They have all the entertainers on that side. I'll be honest, it's the cool party, it's the cool side, right?
Bro, the one dude was talking about his comparison at a Trump rally and a Kamala rally, and he said, bro, Trump had all the policies, it was more serious. But Kamala, it was more fun. People were dancing. It was like a DJ party. But then when you get into the actual thing, it's all disorganized. You got people fighting. Beyonce spoke. Everybody started leaving.
I say make it just policy, straight candidates, and see who wins. May the best man win.
That's what
fuck these endorsers. Fuck these celebrities. They don't really have anything consequential to say. They don't have anything really compelling to add to the campaign. They just get on there and use their star power, honestly.
I mean, let's be real though. Like, bro, they use all the entertainers, and all Trump did was come up there with all the best political pundits you can find.
They even trying to use Obama's celebrity status at this point. I'm just like, bro, they're clearly trying to rally from behind.
Well, wait, one thing I like about Trump is he didn't break the glass until that what was it, Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Bro, Kamala been broke the glass for Obama and Michelle. Obama and Michelle stepping out for her? I mean, she got to be in a tough position.
Now, again, I just admitted, like, both sides kind of do it to a degree, but come on, let's be honest. The left, they got all the celebrities, bro. It's the party of hedonism. It's the party of hedonism. So who isn't over there that's a celebrity, a Hollywood elite? Like,
bro, they have Meg Thee Stallion, Taylor Swift.
Don't forget Quavo.
Bro, they even got Johnny Depp.
Bro, let's go through the whole list. Meg Thee Stallion, Johnny Depp, Quavo, Beyonce, both of the Obamas, all of the Clintons, Tyler Perry,
and they still losing. Man, I mean, you got
Usher,
Lizzo. They done superpowered out. Like, bro, they have all the star power, but no substance. That's the problem. You have all this star power. You're thinking that people are gonna vote because of their favorite artist.
Spike Lee. I know I'm forgetting some, y'all.
I'm like, Lizzo could sing, but her singing ain't never gonna persuade me to vote for you, Kamala.
Bro, she said if we vote Kamala, then the country's gonna look like Detroit. I said, I bet the hell not. I'll shout out Detroit, but I bet the hell not.
Man,
I think that there's
Detroit just now getting back on their feet. And shout out Detroit.
About
hell no.
Who I am and what I've done, because
hell no.
If people are informed about fact, they will know that almost everything that I'm talking about doing as president is built on a foundation of work that I've been doing for years. If it is about economic empowerment of the Black community and all communities, I've been working on that. As vice president, I am responsible for billions of dollars from big banks and big corporations, including technology companies, getting into community banks to increase access to capital for minority-owned and other small businesses. If you look at my work over a period of years, my focus again on something like maternal mortality is long-standing, which directly impacts Black men and Black women.
Right.
And the Black family. If you look at the work that I am doing that is about small businesses, you know, the person who helped my mother raise us, who was a second mother to us, was a small business owner. I have always focused for such a long time on what we need to do, knowing that our small businesses are part of the culture of our communities, right? Including the economic fabric and strength of the community. So what I'm talking about doing right now is based on long-standing work. It's not new. But as President of the United States, part of why it is important is it is a new approach to that job. It is about a new way that is based on a new generation of leadership, that is based on new ideas, and frankly, a different experience that brings my commitment to the work I am talking about into being.
Can you give us a breakdown of how you will allow Blacks and other minorities to access capital? Because you speak a lot about capital, and in order for people to become successful and have some wealth, is that they need to have access to that to get started.
So that's in fact why I did.
I mean, troublemaker. Why didn't you read it?
Why didn't read this, troublemaker?
Ain't no way.
Illegal immigrants do pay some taxes. We estimate the illegal immigrants in 2019 paid roughly $5.9 billion in federal income tax, $16.2 billion in Social Security tax, and $3.8 billion in Medicare tax. Because if they're receiving federal checks, then they're eligible for federal benefits. Let's be honest. Let's use our brains. Let's use our thinking. However, as the net fiscal drain of $68,000 per person. So a migrant has a net fiscal drain, average net fiscal drain, of $68,000 per person. These taxes are not nearly enough to cover the cost of services they receive. Illegal immigrants do add perhaps $321 billion to the nation's GDP, but this is not a measure of their tax contributions or the benefits they create for the U.S. born. Almost all the increase in economic activity goes to illegal immigrants themselves in the form of wages. Bro.
And you know how much? Do you know how much immigrants we have? We have like 30 million plus. Bro, 30 million plus. That means we can go ahead and give you a generous 30 mil, and we're looking at, god damn, oh shit. God damn. It's not even a fathomable number.
Whoa.
We're talking about, bro, y'all costing us almost $2 trillion. Whoa. Y'all costing us over $2 trillion? 68,000 per citizen. Per illegal citizen, per immigrant citizen that comes out of the American. That comes out of America.
These statistics are formed off of documented migrants, people who are over here.
The documented ones.
Documented migrants, people who are over here with federal work, like people who are getting a pay stub, essentially. This doesn't account for visa overstays. It doesn't account for gotaways. It doesn't account for people who came illegally. Bro. So this is a misleading statistic that you just came in our chat with, and we appreciate you saying it because it gives us an opportunity to educate the rest of us who might also believe the same reports. But we just got on here and completely disproved that, bro. They're a net fiscal negative by the average of 68,000 per migrant.
Bro, and it costs 68,000 per migrant on the American system, on the American budget.
It's burdening the American taxpayer.
So that's 68,000 times 45 million. I'm not even sure how I can pronounce that. That's over. Damn, that might be over $1 trillion. Cause that's what 1,000 million billion.
Oh shit!
It's over it, like bro.
Now we ain't no mathematicians or anything like that, but we just did a simple 1, 2, 3. You ain't gonna like the numbers we seeing right now. So,
bro,
let's leave it at your figures because they're a little bit more reasonable, I'll say. But even then, again, I want to hone in on this point: a fiscal net negative of 68,000. Per migrant,
bro. Even if we was paying these people 8,000 per, even if we was only spending 8,000 per undocumented immigrant, it would still be about $360 billion.
And I hope you're still in here to hear this, bro, because again, it just gives us a chance to educate and inform. But yeah, it's a completely misleading statistic that you kind of came in here with. So again, I implore you to read that article in full. Maybe you'll learn something.
Starting earlier this year, my economic opportunity tour, way before I was running for president, because I realized that so many of our entrepreneurs don't actually have we need to do better in getting information to people about what's available to them. So, for example, through the Small Business Administration, there are funds available to help people create a business plan. There is resources available to help people.
You don't look for funds without creating a business plan first, Kamala. You don't get funds to create a business plan. You create a business plan, then you get the funds.
Y'all don't like statistics when they disprove your argument, but when statistics kind of confirm your bias, then y'all love them. Y'all love them.
Oh God!
But when they go against what y'all think, or again, whatever bias you come into our chat with, it's like, oh well, you can find any stats to go along with your narrative. Like, all right. I wasn't saying that when he came in here with the stats, like, oh well, migrants pay more into the economy than. I was like, bro,
all right.
Y'all said the same thing a couple months ago when the argument was, well, migrants report less crime than U.S. born citizens.
3 times less crime than U.S. born citizens.
And we easily disproved that as well.
Without even looking it up, I was like, well, look at the sample size. But it's 3 million U.S. citizens to 31 million immigrants.
We do the critical thinking for them, bro. We do the critical. Y'all should pay us more.
I'm
y'all
done.
Should pay us more.
All right,
like, bro, at least the haters, the supporters, man, y'all know where y'all stand. But the haters, man, we over here doing a history lesson, a statistics analytical class for y'all, a civics class, all in one. Y'all need to pay us more. We like your local community college on this bitch.
I'm done.
Just know how that you need to run a payroll.
Yeah.
How you need to pay business taxes. Part of my plan, by the way, is to simplify taxes for small businesses. I like to say it's basically, I'm going to date myself, like, you remember the 10% 1040 Did you ever have to do a 1040 Probably never.
No.
Okay, I did. But, simplifying tax returns for people, including our small businesses. But the work that I have done and will continue to do is about knowing that we don't lack for hard work. We don't lack for good ideas, but we do lack for information about the help that is available.
This one got
so that's part of how it's just going to be about increasing access to capital. Part of it is about putting more money. So I called up and got in touch with and worked with some of the big CEOs of the biggest corporations in America and said, and the big banks, that you all don't necessarily, you're not there in the community where you can get $100,000 loan to a small business. You guys deal at a different level, but those $100,000 loans for a startup will go a long way. Let's get those billions of dollars that you've got, put them into community banks who are in the community, who know what the community needs, what they want, what the consumers there want, and then support those small businesses. So that's my approach to access to capital, including making sure that people have, again, simplifying taxes for small businesses. You know why, Shannon? Small businesses can't afford to hire a bunch of accountants.
Yeah, they can't help.
And a bunch of lawyers. But that shouldn't be the reason they fail, because they didn't fill out the form properly. Right?
Yes.
So my approach is really understanding the culture, understanding the needs, and then trying to fix problems. I love fixing problems with common sense solutions.
Yeah.
And again, look, Donald Trump is never going to relate necessarily to the kind of folks that I'm talking about, who on the ground just need to be seen and heard, and then let's fix the problems. Let's address the challenges to let them not just get by, but get ahead. And I want to put a fine point on this. Maybe it's a new perspective. I think it is. I believe that we have had great success in bringing black unemployment down to historic lows.
Yes.
But for me, that's a floor. For me, that's a floor. Because what I know is that it should be baseline that everybody's working. That's not enough. People want to build wealth.
Yes.
And intergenerational wealth.
Correct.
And I want to help people do that. Right? Mm-hmm. I know what folks want to be able to take a nice vacation from time to time, have nice Christmas gifts for their kids under the tree. And it can't just be about, well, you got a job, applaud me for what I've done for you.
Right.
And that's the spirit with which I do my work.
I saw President Trump on a TV show, and he talked about defunding the Department of Education.
Yes.
Basically, we know that's going to affect communities like us that don't have the resources. Mm-hmm. And then because he says he doesn't, if they taught about slavery, which is a part of our history, that
they're trying to cover up.
Yes.
That they're trying to cover up.
They talk about racism. And he said, well, what we would do if they talked about it, they wouldn't get funding. And we know what communities are going to be most impacted by non-funding.
And understand that they want to get rid of the Department of Education and get rid of Head Start. You know whose kids are in Head Start? They want to, it is, and to your point, and I'm so glad you pointed this out, these are the same people who basically suggested that enslaved people benefited from slavery. The same people who are trying to ban and are banning books. Mm-hmm. And again, if we don't teach America's full history, we will never ensure that we don't make the same.
Yes.
To do those same things again.
Let's learn from that painful part of our history to make sure we don't repeat it, but not by not covering it up. Let's have an open and honest conversation about it. It happened.
And the effects of it.
Yes.
And the present day effects of it. Mm-hmm.
I think we both agree. I think we can all agree on this, that there is a problem with,
honestly, this is my personal stance, and feel free to chime in, Seth, but I'm kind of pro moving away from CRT. Yeah, I don't think that it needs to be preached to our kids about systemic racism and how everybody has their boot on your neck and how you should adopt this victimhood mentality.
Yeah. It breeds the victimhood mentality. It breeds laziness because they can always fall back on, oh, the white man got me down. No, nigga, you ain't trying hard enough.
Not that it doesn't exist, but why would I tell my kid, like, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, they're gonna be against you. You're gonna have to face this. Now it might be a realistic way of looking at things. I can understand the realism of it, but at the same point, I find it to be almost a disadvantage of teaching kids like the systemic racism that doesn't exist to the degree that it did during like the Jim Crow era.
Bro, it's just best to teach your kid to be a hard worker, to be a high performer, and let that be that. But as soon as you feed them that victim mentality, they can, every time they lack, they can always fall back on that.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. It just kills ambition. It just kills, well, I'm gonna be real with you, sovereignty.
Yeah. And it's the same lesson plan, I would say, again, from like the Jim Crow era. We haven't updated it to say, okay, well, it's 2024. We have the same opportunities. It's kind of equal across the board. Like, we're still preaching the same message that we've been preaching for the better part of 50 years. That's what I'm saying. It's outdated.
Yeah, there are literally black people who will sit there and play the victim mentality. Instead of helping their own community, they want to wait on the white man and give them reparations. It's the most pathetic thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
But all right.
An outdated message, at the very least, I would just say it's an outdated message that at its core needs updated.
Term, I think it's undocumented. How do we get a hold on that, Madam VP? How do we make sure? Because I think I've heard you say you want a path to citizenship, but we want to, make sure people come in and do things properly.
Yes, that's exactly right. So first of all, I have personally prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I have prosecuted the Sinaloa cartel, the Guadalajara cartel. So I put my record up to anybody in terms of how strongly I feel about having a secure border and making sure that there is not that kind of...
What? Secure border? That shouldn't even come out your mouth. A secure border should be the last thing that come out your mouth. Actually, secure border, my black ass. I mean, it's Kamala.
Give me a second, y'all. I gotta go off.
There ain't no way she said that. Like, bro, you know what? I think I need to bring up something here. FEMA. Are you serious right now, bro? SSP. Are you serious right now? All right. Let's go to FEMA Shelter and Services Program, right? Because this is under FEMA, right? So, the Shelter and Service Programs, as directed by Congress in the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2023, look it up, signed by Biden in December of 2022, is administered by FEMA in partnership with U.S. Customs and Border Protections. In fiscal year 2024, Congress appropriated $650 million for SSP.
That was y'all FEMA relief. So if you got family in Florida, Carolina, any of those affected states, man, thank the Biden administration for them not being able to get their relief. Thank the Biden administration for that $750 they try to fucking offer y'all. Now, like that was going to repair y'all homes.
And now let me go into further detail. The SSP, like I said, it's under FEMA, Shelter and Service Program. So now you know, FEMA, SSP. Let it click in your mind. All right, the SSP provides financial support to non-federal entities to provide shelter and related activities to non-citizen migrants following their release from the Department of Homeland Security.
And I really want y'all to hone in on this because this disproves the narrative like, oh, they're not connected. What's the correlation? You're telling me FEMA gets money from the SSP, FEMA gets money from the Customs and... Yes.
Where am I at?
Yes.
I'm on FEMA.
Yes.
This is FEMA's literal website, FEMA.gov/grid/shelter-services-programs.
And I'll give y'all a pass on that because at face, I didn't believe it either. I'm like, wait, where's the correlation? You got to look it up. You got to do the research. That's what they expect you not to do. That's what they expect you not to do. So when somebody says, well, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, the SSP program is kind of funded and subsidized by FEMA, and they be like, what? That doesn't make any sense. So you're telling me migrants are getting FEMA's money? Where? How? That doesn't make any sense.
It's right here. Literally in your face.
It's right here.
You could literally read how much $650 million that could have went to
anything.
Yeah, anything. Actually, it could have went to U.S. citizens, but instead it went to migrants.
And shout out Dova Budgie 100, man. Good to see you back in here. The Democrats fought hard to destroy the nuclear-backed family, and now they're fighting hard to keep it that way. Disgraceful. It's an abomination, really. Abhorrent tactics used by them. And again, they have the blue vote, the blue no matter who crowd, the Democrats, the left. Bro, they have the black community in a vice grip chokehold. It's starting to loosen a little bit. You're starting to see some people wake up and go to the other side, or at least entertain the other side a little bit more. But again, bro, there's this crab in a barrel mentality over on that side that says if you're not voting with them, if you're not siding with them, you're Uncle Tom, you're a coon. Y'all see some of them in our chat right now. Y'all see some of them in our chat right now.
Like Tether. Like, all right,
coon,
bro.
you're so bad. You're a disgrace to black men. What, for doing some critical thought? What's been missing from the community for the better part of 50 to 100 years? All right, bet. We'll be on the forefront of it then. We'll be the coon leaders then. I'm about to buy a coon mask.
Fuck it, I'm gonna dress like Uncle Ruckus.
Bro, play the sound effect.
Man, I got y'all. Because y'all be thinking that that we won't just coon out.
You can't villainize a villain, bro. I'll put on that villain mask. I will put on that villain mask proudly.
Bro, please don't let us play into what you think we are. I promise you, bro, I'm very good at it.